Yes, it's another multiple choice Monday with yours truly, Makita from the Accounting Academy. Today, let's chat about control accounts, multiple choice questions. All right. Control accounts falls under control systems. And I know that is a topic that a lot of students have trouble with. So we're going to do about 10 or 11 multiple choice questions on that. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you did not subscribe as yet. And as we go along, feel free to drop any comments in the chat box, all right? If you're ready, type ready in the chat. A quick note before we jump into the questions so you guys could get the best bang for your buck, all right? If you did not pause the video and do the questions, then please do that. That's gonna help you get more information, more understanding, more clarity. All right, so pause the video, then do the question, then watch the explanation. Another very important thing, as I see a lot of students mixing up, the receivables control account or the sales ledger control account or the debtors control account is the same thing. All right, you're not gonna see a lot of debtors control account around, but it depends on, you know, what you're reading or how old a particular video is. All right. So payables control account as well as the same thing as the purchase ledger control account or your creditors control account. Control accounts are mirrors of the ordinary account. So whatever you would normally do in a receivables account is the same way you would treat the control account. And likewise, the payables control account. All right. Those are some key things that you have to understand before we continue. So number one is on the screen. And they gave us a T account and they asked us what is the opening receivable balance. So we had to find this figure here where my cursor is moving. What you can do here, once you have your paper in front of you, you quickly total both sides, see which one gives you a larger total, and you use that as a total for both sides. All right, so let's do it. And you can follow as I go along. All right. So I have exactly the same information that they gave us. 7,500 alone by itself here, 500, 300, and 9,400. Now let's pull a total, and we could already see that the credit side is more than the debit side. So whatever that totals to, we're going to use that for both sides, all right? So 10,200, 10,200. Now to find the balance brought down, we have to minus the 7,500 from the 10,200. And why? Is because we know that when we add whatever that balance brought down figure is to the 7,500, it should total to 10,200. All right. And when we move the 7,500 across to by the 10,200, we will find out what X is. Okay. So that is one way of working it out using the T account and finding the total. Another way you could work this out is just using a simple mathematical equation. But to do this, you have to know what will be added to the balance and what will be deducted from the opening balance. So on the screen, I have some information in red. We have the opening balance. We would now add the credit sales to that. We will minus any discounts allowed, any bad debts, and that should be equal to our closing balance. So based on the information that they gave us, the opening balance is X because we don't know that. Remember, we're using another format. The credit sales was 7,500, discount allowed 500, bad debt 300, and all of that has to be equal to 9,400, which is the closing balance. This is where your maths come in, not so much POA, not so much accounts. Put all the numbers on one side, leave X by itself, and that's going to work down to be 2,700. So therefore, your answer will be, look at the options. Your answer will be A. That's correct. All right, so let's move on to number 2, which is similar to number 1. All right, but now we are dealing with our payables control account, and this is dealing with our suppliers. The other one, number one, was dealing with our customers. And they asked us to find what is the value of the credit purchase. So similar question where something is left out. All right. I already have the total on the screen. And in this question, they did not give us the T account. So if you want to use this format, draw up your T account quickly, put in the information. You don't have to put in all the details because remember, you're moving quickly. Just a minute and a half, you have to do this question in the exam. Put in your figures, find your total, find the difference between the total and the item on this side, which is the credit side. That's going to give you your credit purchases. All right. So X plus 1500 is equal to 9750. When we put all the numbers on one side and we work it up, we realize that X is equal to 8250, which is A. Let's go down and look at the mathematical equation on the screen in red. So the opening balance was 1500. We don't know what the credit purchases is. So you let X represent that. Discounts received and the purchase payments would be deducted. And that's going to give you 3,700 as a closing balance. They gave us that 3,700. All right, so this is the information on the screen that they gave us. And we're starting off owing 1,500. That is what our opening balance means. It means that we owe 1,500. When we purchase more items on credit, that has to be added. And then when we pay the supplier, we would deduct whatever we pay from them. If we get any discounts, we also have to deduct that because that is going to allow us to pay less. All right. So you have the equation on your screen, work out the answer, and you're going to get the same 8250. If you realize you also coming down to the end, you get the same 9750 minus 1500. Number 3. So that answer is also A. Number 3, what effect does discount received have on purchases control account? And we kind of just touch on that. The discount received is going to reduce the amount that we owe to the supplier. So it decreases the payables. It does not increase it. All right. It does not add to what we already owe. It has an effect on the creditors or the payables, right? Same thing. So C and D are out. Your answer is B for number 3. All right, so number 4. Similar to what we did in number 1 and number 2, the following information relates to receivables for a year. So this has to do with our customers the whole year. Our opening balance was 1,200, closing balance is 2,250. Amount received from customers, or money that we received from the customers was 13,500. Discount allowed, bad debt 350. What is the amount of credit sales for the year? So we have to populate our T account or use the mathematical equation. All right, opening balance 1,200. The credit sales will be added to that. Any money that we receive from the customer will be deducted. Discounts allowed will also be deducted, and bad debt written off will be deducted. All right. Let me get my details on this side. You guys are following? Drop a 1 in the comment for me. All right. So let's work this out. We have to know, based on what we would have done before, if you're following, use the same pattern. All right. Deduct the information that they give you from the total on the whichever side it is, and you're going to get a credit sale. So we're going to deduct 1,200 from 16,360. And that is going to give you on the screen. All right, so 1,200 add whatever this is, we have that as X is equal to the 16,360. When we put all the numbers on one side, we will end up with the 16,360 minus the 1,200. That's going to give us 15,160. Our answer is B. All right, so that is the T format. Of course, we could use the equation format, but you just have to know that what is going to be added to the opening balance. So our credit sales will be added because that's going to increase how much is owed to us. All right. So 1,200 is our opening credit sales. We don't know. We minus any amount received from the customers, minus the discount allowed, which is the 210, minus the bad debt. And that's going to give us our closing balance. Work all the figures. You will end up with the same thing you got before, which is 15,160. All right, so by now I think you guys have the hang of these type of questions. Let me know if you do in the chat. So let's look at something a little bit different. Number 5 here in pink. All of the following will be found in the sales ledger control account except which one of those you will not see in a sales ledger control account. I remember your sales ledger control account deals with your customers. Discount received, would you have discount received dealing with a customer? Or would it be discount allowed, bad debt, or dishonored checks? So in this question, the one that do not belong is discount received, because that deals with our suppliers. We will get a discount from our supplier every so often. All right. So discount received is the one that does not belong there. So number 5 is A. Number 6, similar to what we have been doing before. And this would come a lot. So make sure you get comfortable with it. Make sure you know how to find each particular element in the control account, because they can ask you to find anyone. They can ask you to find the discount received. They can ask you to find the payments to suppliers. Just use the same principle. Find the total on your T account, especially if they give you a T account. It is easier for you to just find the total on the T account. Use red. All right, so find the total on a T account. Figure out what they want you to find, and then deduct all the other items on that same side from your total. So in this case, we are deducting 3,400 from 12,840. Right, so your answer would be A. You do the maths and let me know in the comments if you are getting 9,440 as your answer. That is the credit purchases. And of course, you can use the equation format, but I find like when they give you the T account, it's easier just to totally T account, as I said, and find out what is missing. All of the following items will appear in the receivables control account except. Now let's just go back up quickly to see. So this one was the sales ledger control account, all right? And here they're asking us about the receivables control account, which is the same thing, just a different name, all right? Which one of these items you would not see in any account that you're dealing with your customers? You will see discount allowed, all right? You will not see discount received. You will see credit sales. You will see dishonored checks. And they also introduced something new here with the credit sales. Let's see what they had up there. They had bad debts. All right. So take your time with the question. You only have a minute and a half, right? But you still don't want to be in an extreme rush where you are not reading the questions properly. And it's very easy to select discount allowed instead of discount received when you're hustling. All right, so take a 10-second pause. It is a lot. All right, breathe in, breathe out. Let's look at another one. These questions come a lot. So I really want you to be comfortable with it, finding the missing figure. In this one, which is number 8, they ask us to find a closing receivable balance. And I believe this should be easy for a lot of students because you just have to find a balancing figure. Right? So it's not like a missing figure. You have to find really, we don't know what the balance is. So this one is a lot more straightforward. Credit sales is going to be added to your opening. Discount allowed has to be deducted, bad debt has to be deducted. Receipts have to be deducted as well, and you're going to find a closing balance. Where do you add and where do you deduct with it in a T account when you're dealing with receivables? Well, you would add on your debit side. So all your debits are additions and your credits are deductions. So this is what a T account should look like if you choose to follow the T account. Let me take this out. All right, so this is what a T account should look like before you put in your balance carry down. Same system. Find the total of both sides. Use the bigger number as your total figure. And then whichever side is less, you have to balance that off by deducting the items on that side from the total. And your answer would be C for this question, which is 4,020. All right, so that is the closing receivable balance. That is how much money is owed to us at the end. Okay, and of course you could have used the equation. So we just have and we just have about 2 more to go. Let me know which is your favorite method to use in these kind of questions. Do you prefer to use the T account or do you prefer to use the equation? Number 9 is pretty straightforward, right? It doesn't have a lot of items and they're asking us to find the credit purchases. So we start off owing to the 600, we purchased some items from them. We paid 11,800 and our balance is 2,500. Now that it could be a really straightforward mathematical equation. All right, so let's put the T account on the screen. This is what the T account will look like for this information. Started 3,600, we don't know what the credit purchases are. Payments would go on the debit side and our balance at December 31st will be 2,500. All right, or this will be the balance that we carry down. When we total, we will get 14,300. And we have to deduct the 3,600 from the 14,300 to get your answer. Let me know if this is making sense, please. Let me know if you're following, if you're enjoying the session, if it's bringing any light to you at all. Okay, when we deduct that 3,600 from the 14,300, we will get the answer as A, 10,700. All right, and again, you can use the equation format. It all depends on which one you feel more comfortable with. So the opening balance was 3,600. Our credit purchases, we don't know what that is, etc. Number 10, which of the following does not appear in a creditor's control account? Remember at the beginning, I told you guys the creditor's control account is the same thing as, yes, the purchase ledger control account or the payables control account. So which one of these you would not find in your payables ledger control account? Payables ledger control account deals with your suppliers. So of course, you're going to find payment to suppliers, which is A. You'll find credit purchases. You will find discounts received as well, because that is the hub or that is the account for all things suppliers. All right. as credit suppliers. Dishonored checks would not be in your credit control account because this has to do with your customers. All right, so number 10, the one that you will not find or the one that will not appear in the creditors control account is dishonored checks. And we have a little bonus here for you guys. What amount was paid to the supplier? So this is the first one where they ask us to find the amount that was paid to the suppliers. And I want to challenge all of you who like to use the T account to use the mathematical equation where you know what is added and what is deducted. This is a really straightforward one. So let's go. We will take our 1,700, which is our opening balance. We will add any purchases and we will deduct any payments. That is going to tell us what is our balance at the end of the year. That is going to tell us how much we owe at the end of the year. Hence the reason I have everything equal to 900. Put all the numbers on one side, put all the letters on one side. In this case, we have one letter, which is X. And you will get your answer as 6,200. Any questions? Drop them in the chat below. I will be happy to answer them. Feel free to find us on Instagram at the Accounting Academy. And you can also email us at learn@taa@gmail.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Let someone else be blessed by this presentation.